everybody. Welcome in to Fourth and Long, America's #3 rated football show. Behind only Load the Box, just the whole network, and of course, it's So Money with Chris Land. I am your panelist, Jordan Hawthorne.
We're good.
Nathan, are you fixed yet?
Yeah, we're good now. Sorry about that, guys. My mic was not.
Hey,
They could hear me, but you guys at home could not. Welcome to Fourth and Long. I'm Nathan. He's Jordan. That way is Jordan. That way is Chris. That way is Josh. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's week 6. We got a lot to talk about. Big week in the NFL. Some interesting games last week. Some interesting matchups this week. And we've got a lot to get through. We are missing our stat man, Mr. Daniel Ship. He is working tonight.
If Ship's out, this show's gonna take like a half hour with all the stats we're not gonna have.
I'm sure.
If you want, I'll entertain you guys.
As long as it doesn't involve nipples, I'm good. We can.
I'm close, bub. I'm real close.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that.
I don't think Jordan won enough games last week to go full on bare nipple Panama Jack tonight.
You know what? It was a good week in the Pick'em Challenge. We had a really good week across the board last week. We did pretty well. I got to be honest with you. Everybody got at least 10 games last week.
We were talking before the show about people trying to outsmelt the room and always be that, that guy that's one step ahead. I picked the Jags, and I'm ready to take it because I really thought they were doing an upset. But what I didn't take into account was the whole Urban Meyer controversy and how that was probably going to weigh him down a little bit. So I picked a distracted Jacksonville team to be my upset special, and unfortunately,
I think that was the biggest.
Hey, I took the paper planes. I mean,
You know what, though? Here's the thing. Taking the Jets against the Falcons is a lot less of a reach than taking, Jacksonville against Tennessee. I'm just being honest with you. I know the Jets beat them.
The Jets beat them.
I know.
No, they didn't.
The Jets beat Tennessee.
Titans.
The week before.
I
get it.
The Falcons. I thought you were saying the Jets won. I was like, they did not.
Yeah, but here's the thing. How quickly?
They did not.
How quickly America has forgotten all about Urban Meyer. I hadn't even thought about Urban Meyer in the last 4 days until you brought him up. And if there's one person that is reveling in the news of John Gruden's departure, it is one Urban Meyer.
Absolutely.
Talk about a flip of the switch. I mean, I can't keep up with the heels in the NFL. It's like bad WWE writing. We just go from one heel to the next with no transition. But, the thing about it is, you're going to have coaching controversy in the NFL. You're going to have drama. You're going to have this. You're going to have that. It's the NFL at the end of the day. If it was easy,
high profile.
Yeah, if it was easy, you'd be in it, right? So, with that being said, we're going to talk a little bit about coaching controversy, but we've got a lot of content for these games and these players to get through. So, if you're looking for a 2-hour stream all about John Gruden, this ain't the one. This ain't the one. Okay.
I'm a Raiders fan, and I really don't want to talk about it.
TMZ's got plenty of action for you on that topic. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about last week. As you guys can see at home, the ticker going across the bottom of the screen is showing the current and up-to-date Pick'em standings. Of course, a big shout out to our presenting sponsor, the Outlaw Jerky Company, for sponsoring this year's Pick'em Challenge. What the Outlaw Jerky Company has agreed to do is provide to us, a bag of Devil's Breath beef jerky. I have some here. Devil's Breath beef jerky. Now, here's the deal about this, This is 2 times hotter than the one chip challenge. You can go to UDF, pay $6. One chip challenge, world hottest chip. It has a disclaimer. It's $6 for one chip, that sort of thing. Very hot. I had to eat it last year because I finished in last place. So this year, the Outlaw Jerky Company has been kind enough to sponsor that challenge and be willing to supply us with some Devil's Breath. Whoever amongst the 4 of us and Lieutenant Ship, who's not here tonight, finishes in last place is going to have to eat that live on stream. You're not going to want to miss that. I have also had the Devil's Breath beef jerky. It is very hot. It is very hot. Anyone who follows my Twitch channel has probably seen me eat it on there, and I almost died live on camera, which I think is against Twitch's terms of service, so I probably would have gotten banned if I died. But so we don't want to do that. That being said, let's talk about the standings after last week. So coming into last week, this Ship, Chris, Jordan, Josh, and myself was the order. Not much has changed outside of Josh has moved into 3rd place and I am now tied with Jordan for 4th. Okay. Let's recap last week. The two best records for the week were Josh and Ship, both going 11-4 in 15 games last week, putting Ship at an overall record of 49-26, 5 games ahead of second and third place Chris and Josh, who are tied at 44-31. Jordan and I are 43-32, so a lot of bunching in the back of the pack, but then a comfortable lead for Ship. So last week's games were interesting. As always, let's look at how many games we all picked unanimously. And last week it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. We all had the same pick. So of course we're going to have very similar records when that happens. And then of the games where we picked differently, there was 2 games where 3 games. So of the remaining 5 games, 3 of those games only had one person buck the trend. So it's a good week overall, but a lot of consistency amongst the picks there. The big ones that stood out to me, we all picked Carolina. Of course, Philadelphia won. Chris was the only one to pick the Jets. I was the only one to pick the Bengals, and I was a field goal away. I mean, I don't even really want to talk about that game, to be honest with you.
Want to inflate your ego or anything, but like, you picked the Lions and the Bengals this season, and both of them came down to, both of them were just tails of the kicko. Truly, at the end of it, that's all that got talked about.
But Mason Crosby's not the greatest NFL player in history like Justin Tucker is, so that one hurt a little bit worse.
Still, it was 2 completely opposites too. One was Justin Tucker hit record-setting field goal. One was 2 teams combined to miss 6 field goals in the last 2 minutes of regulation and into overtime. It was terrible. That was an awful game. It was exciting, but
yeah, it was not great. It was not great for me to watch. I had a guest over at my house. We were watching it together, and we were just literally glued to the TV, and we watched missed field goal, and then missed field goal, then missed field goal, then missed field goal, and I was like,
you're the Bengal fan. I got a question.
Okay.
How bad is your coach?
He's not good. He's not good.
He had 3 different chances on those field goals to run a meaningful play. Yeah. And he ran plays that let him settle for 49-yarders.
Yeah, listen, he's not
belly right.
He's not great. If listen, I'll say this.
Stupid.
If the Bengals do not win a playoff game in either this year or next year with Zach Taylor, I think he's gone. This team has got fight. They've got heart. They have shown they can win games. They're surprising all of us. You cannot let a team that wants to win and wants to play well and is doing so, you cannot let them be thrown to the wayside by having a bad coach at the helm. It's the NBA, or I'm sorry, it's the NFL.
They're winning in spite of him.
Yeah, exactly. It's the NFL, which much like the NBA, talent can sometimes win despite a bad coach. And listen, no one thinks Eric Spoelstra was one of the all-time great head coaches in the NBA, but he's got some rings, right? So you don't need a Bill Cowher, you don't need a Bill Parcells, a Bill Belichick. What's with all the Bills being good this year? Yeah,
Bills that are good.
You don't need that, right? Marvin Lewis coaching this team has them winning playoff games, I think. And Marvin Lewis wasn't the greatest coach in history, but at the end of the day, Zach Taylor is going to be short-lived unless he can find success. Listen, if he wins a playoff game, he hit pay dirt. They're going to extend him for a long time.
I agree with that, but I just have to and this is maybe me being a Vikings fan where our defense isn't good, so I'm banging the table to fire the defensive head coach that we have. You guys hire.
We'll take him. We'll take him. Send him to Cincinnati. We'll win a Super Bowl.
You have an offensive head coach, and it seems like, at least statistically, your offense seems to sputter when it probably shouldn't. You guys there's no reason you guys should not have a top 5 passing offense with all of those weapons.
We have a top 10 quarterback and a top 5 receiving core. The offensive line has played good enough to provide for both. Here's the thing. We're seeing now Zach Taylor was the offensive coordinator for a Sean Taylor or a Sean brain fart.
He wasn't an offensive coordinator. He was a quarterback
offensive coach. Sean McVay. Thank you. We're seeing that Zach Taylor was an offensive coach on a Sean McVay coach team, which of course is going to be an offensive juggernaut. With candidates out there, Eric Bieniemy, some of these college coaches ready to make the jump. I have a really hard time understanding where Zach Taylor is going to get a long leash. That being said, the Bengals have He's the second head coach of the Bengals since 2001, I think. They don't pull the trigger very often. And with Marvin Lewis, I think it was a little bit different. I think Marvin had earned his keep. I think Marvin had proven he really was not the issue with that organization. I don't know that Zach Taylor's earned that respect and earned that longevity, but we'll see.
For Bengals fans, I just want to lay this name out there because Load the Box next week for the bye week special. We're doing a quarterbacks and head coach candidate type show for the Vikings. And Joe Brady, as crazy as it sounds, he's calling plays in Carolina. And you know who he was the OC for? Jamal Chase and Joe Burrow whenever they were in college. So it might make sense to bring him in with some familiarity to be a head coach if Carolina can get back on track.
Nice stat right there.
So, and I'll say this, I had not given that some thought, but you are right. Joe Brady was the offensive coordinator in LSU when they were there. And if history shows us anything, the Bengals are willing and actively listening to what Joe Burrow thinks when making big decisions. It's the big reason why they went with Jamar Chase instead of Penei Sewell. It can happen. I mean, definitely not out of the realm of possibility. But without getting too far into the weeds on this, and before we jump into next week's games, we do have, of course, our weekly segment. You heard it from Hubie, from your man, Mr. Paul Huber. And let's go ahead and take a look at that segment right now.
This poorly produced video has been brought to you by the Outlaw Jerky.
That was going to be last week's segment. I forgot to update it. Give me 1 second here. Here we go. All right, and now for the real this time. Here is, you heard it from Hubie, Mr. Paul Huber from the Rock and Roll Wood Shop in Lebanon, Tennessee.
This poorly produced video has been brought to you by the Outlaw Jerky Company. Get some. Hello everybody, Paul Huber here. That's right, your boy Hubie in the Rock and Roll Wood Shop. Welcome to another week of the good, the bad, and the ugly here on 4 Laps Down Nation. Glad you could join us. We're going to jump right in and do this week's review of the Club Tales Bahama Mama. This is a 10%. They call it a cocktail in a can. It's not quite a seltzer. Definitely not a seltzer. It's kind of a sparkling cocktail, if you will. It is a mix of citrus and fruit flavors. Let's give it a try. By the way, I've never tried this. First time opening one of these. Wow, that's surprisingly good. It helps that I like citrus. It's actually not overly sweet. I like this a lot. If you like fruity drinks that aren't super sweet, this one's for you. I give it a solid 7.5. And let's talk about the NFL. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, definitely the Buffalo Bills. Their offense, #1 in the league. More than 34 points per game. Defense, #1 in the league. Less than 13 points per game. 12.8 to be exact. They have a 108-point differential versus their opponents. Almost double that of the Arizona Cardinals, which is 62. Josh Allen continues to improve in this league and is showing that he is definitely becoming a top-tier quarterback. Wow, that's all I can say. Now, I'm not looking forward to my Titans playing them next Monday. The bad, Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody ever saw the fact that it would even be possible that the Kansas City Chiefs would be 2-3 after 5 weeks in the 2021 season. They're last in the NFL for points allowed with more than 32 points per game. Andy Reid must right the ship. It also definitely does not help that Tyreek Hill is on the injury reserve list. Finally, the ugly kickers in week 5. What are you doing? You have one job. No, you literally have one job. It's called a football. You kick the ball with your foot. 12 missed field goals this week. 12 missed PATs this week. You had the blocked kick in the Ravens win. When that happened, it's like, I went to bed thinking, it's probably over. I woke up and I was right the next morning. It's crazy. So anyway, and if I'm not mistaken, the Rams kicker, Matt Gay, I think he actually had 2 kickoffs that went out of bounds, giving their opponents the ball at the 40. Twice that game. You can't do that. You have one job. Finally, the unexpected for the season. Chargers at 4-1 in the AFC West, which after 3 weeks, look to be the best division in football, but the rest of the division has fallen, but not the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. I still want to say San Diego. But anyway, that's all I got this week. Thanks for checking in for the good, the bad, and the ugly here on 4 Laps Down Nation. We're going to turn it back to our esteemed panel. I really know what you guys think about both the Buffalo Bills and especially of the LA Chargers. See you.
Well, that was another great segment from you heard it from Hubie, Week 6 edition. He keeps reviewing these fruity drinks, so we're gonna have to get him to step it up and do some like bourbon and some stuff.
That Bahama Mama, I looked at that and I love Bahama Mamas. They don't miss. They're so good.
Yeah,
I have to try that.
I'm not mad about it, and I make a pretty good Bahama Mama from scratch myself. It's my wife's favorite cocktail, so of course you got to figure out how to make that really well. But we appreciate Hubie, who of course is part of the Outlaw Jerky Company. Appreciate him jumping in and filming that segment for us every week. It's pre-recorded, which is different for him. He's got thousands and thousands of hours of live streaming on Facebook and various groups and his own page and things like that. And he'll tell you, and I agree with him, trying to pre-record something is 10 times harder than a live stream. I don't know why. It is for me as well. It's not an easy thing. So Hubie, thank you for doing that for us.
And good on him. I don't know if you told him Ship was going to be out, but he was bringing the stats for that Kansas City defense and the Buffalo offense. And
he was, man.
The point differential.
Hubie's on top of his game. Let's take a brief moment here and catch up with chat. We've got, of course, Hubie in chat. Joe Schaefer's here. Chris Ferguson's here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Joe Schaefer says he just finished bottling up a batch of fermented Ghost Red Habanero hot sauce. I am in. I want that on pork tacos right now. Was thinking of throwing in a bottle to go along with your next giveaway. I'm in. Joe, shoot me a text tomorrow and we'll make it happen, brother. Thank you for that. Hubie says DM me. What am I DMing Hubie? Let me see here. Oh, he says I have a surprise next week. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, Hubie, listen, I'll reach out to you. If you need to DM me like right now during the show, go ahead and shoot me a Facebook message. If it can wait till after the show, I will reach out to you then. With that being said, before we jump into next week's games, does anyone have anything to add?
I want to get Josh's and Chris's opinion on the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Bills game.
Oh, I meant to start that discussion, and totally missed it. So go ahead. Yeah.
I might heal.
So, Kansas City, and I know everybody's panicking about Kansas City, but I think that Kansas City, the success that they've had over the last I'll start with this. Their defense is bad. Their defense is very bad, and if they can't figure out that defense, they're going to be a one and done in the playoffs if they even make it. But their defense is bad. But I also think that they're just I think they're on cruise control right now. Like, they know they're going to get in the playoffs. And in the past, they've shown that they can kind of flip a switch and just turn that offense like that. I think they're on cruise control right now. Their defense, like I said, is struggling, but I'm not concerned about Kansas City. Like, I think they're going to turn it around if they can figure the defense out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Kansas City's not used to having a bad defense, but I do still think that offense is potent enough. I don't think it's going to cost them too many more games this year, but it's interesting. It's interesting to see how dominant and how good those guys were these last couple years, and then to turn around and see this and see them struggle and see them lose to, some teams that we would not have necessarily thought they would lose to. Of course, also on the same hand, who could have predicted the Chargers would be as good as they are? So,
and who had Arizona going undefeated, being the last?
Not me.
The season's been fun, but I'm curious to hear from a Vegas fan's perspective. I mean, you hear that Kansas City's defense is dead last, on a record pace to be the worst in NFL history. You got to think Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, all those boys are going to eat it up. I think they might be able to. I think right now teams are able to outshoot the Chiefs just because the defense. I mean, it's like throwing a baseball through toilet paper. It's absolutely nothing. I don't know, man.
It doesn't feel like you need many stops right now to beat the Chiefs. If you can get maybe like 2 or 3 stops, if you can get 5 stops against the Chiefs, without any points at all, you can beat them. And sometimes you get stops because the clock runs out or something like that. So that's not always the thing. But I mean, just their defense is bad, and we're gonna see a team I thought that would have a really good defense, play them this week. So, as far as them making the playoffs, I'm looking. I need to look at the rest of their schedule to see. I mean, they're 2-3.
Buffalo looks good too. I mean,
yeah, I don't want to be this guy, but like I was watching that game. Patrick Mahomes looks like really slow, and I think it's just because Josh Allen is really fast, like ridiculously fast.
Would you say sneaky fast?
No, I wouldn't. Well, maybe I would. I don't know, man. He's quick as a hiccup. He's insane.
What is it with you and these one-liners tonight?
I don't know, man. I'm on.
He said, "Damn it, ship's gone. It's my time to shine."
But legitimately, like you watch that game, and Josh Allen is jumping over people. It looks like he's as fast as Lamar Jackson out there. And then I watch Pat Mahomes in comparison, and he's still kind of quick, but he's getting ran down by defensive linemen.
Did you hear what McDermott said, by the way, about Josh Allen? That somebody asked him, they're like, "How do you feel about Josh Allen hurdling that defender?" And he said, like that towards the end of the game, he was like, "How do you feel about him hurdling the defender?" And he was like, "To get the first down at the end of the game like that, like he can hurdle me if he wants to. I don't care." Like it was. But what's funny is when Josh Allen started for Buffalo, we played Buffalo. This is a couple years ago. We played Buffalo in Minnesota. We were like 17-point favorites. Buffalo was terrible. And Josh Allen was playing quarterback. We're like, "Oh, it's a rookies, and we're just going to eat him up." And they came in and beat the brakes off the Vikings. And he hurdled who? Do you remember who he hurdled?
It was Anthony Bow. He will eternally live on T-shirts.
I mean, he jumped right over the top of him, and I was like, "Holy smokes, that dude's for real!" And now you see what he's become. But no, Buffalo's for real in that division.
Have you seen that story about Josh Allen? Like it was 2 seasons ago, so it was before he was really good last year. That he wasn't throwing the ball correctly. He wasn't using his bottom half of his body.
I did see that
All
story.
of his arm strength was just his shoulder and his throwing arm. And so they fixed his throwing motion. I have no doubt that man could throw a ball goal line to goal line on a nice breezy day where maybe he has a little bit of wind. Goal line to goal. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm.
Yeah, I said at the beginning of the season, Josh Allen was my opener pick for the MVP. I'm sticking to it. He's proven me right every single week. I mean, he's just the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and it's close. I'm not going to say it's not close.
You know who my MVP pick was?
Kyler Murray's making a run for it, but Lamar Jackson really is a guy that people need to start talking about more in the MVP race. What?
Never.
Listen, let me. Okay, listen. Ship's not here. I'm just going to tell you something. Okay, in 2019, Lamar Jackson was the NFL MVP. Let's talk about through the first 5 games. Okay, Lamar Jackson has better stats this year through 5 games than he did in 2019 in the following categories: passing yards, rushing yards, completion percentage, and win-loss record. The only major category you would care about as a coach from your quarterback is total touchdowns, and he's only 2 short of where he was through 5 games in 2019. So statistically speaking, Lamar Jackson's on pace. And by the way, Lamar Jackson has been fairly impressive in the games that the Ravens have played well.
I'm just saying, unless your name's Tom Brady, they've never given out the MVP after 5 games. That's all I'm saying. Unless your name is Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Tom Brady
is your MVP now.
Put some spec on his name. That man has not won 7 Super Bowls.
Did you watch? Be considered an MVP? Did you watch that game Monday night?
You mean Thursday night? Oh, the Monday night game. Are you talking about the Colts or the? I thought we were talking
the Colts
about
and Ravens.
I did, and then I went to bed and I woke up and I shit my pants.
I mean, the Colts. Okay, well, the Colts.
Wow. They were up like 20 points when I went to sleep, and I woke up and said,
"The Colts started playing conservative. A blocked field goal. Like they started laying off and just let Lamar pick them apart, and he did. Which the verdict has always been make Lamar beat you with his arm, and he did.
He's beating people with his arm this year.
He looked really good
until he really wasn't until this game. Though.
But
that game makes his entire season stat line.
Hey,
looked
there's
much
one
more impressive.
quarterback in NFL history to have that many yards with that good a completion percentage, and his name is Lamar Jackson. That's the list. That list complete. He
Yeah.
had the best game
and
of
I get
maybe
what
any
Nathan,
quarterback this year.
I get what Nathan's saying about, Lamar. He won the MVP. What was it? 2019.
Don't sleep on him, bro. That's what I'm
issue
saying.
is he's got somebody in the AFC named Josh Allen that's going up against him.
I understand.
And I would like.
That's
to
why I
compare
think
the
Josh
stats,
Allen
but-
wins the MVP. I'm just saying Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. I mean, let's not ignore what he's done in Arizona. They both have earned their way into the conversation. And I think, frankly, it's between those three. But I think Josh Allen's going to win it. But before we jump into the games, let's do another quick catch up with chat. Corey Stillwell's here. He says, "What's up, fellas?" Parker Hahn is here. He demands to know who voted for the Chiefs last week and wants to know where that energy is. Well, Parker, it's the two esteemed gentlemen on the right side of the screen. They voted for the Chiefs last week, and they were wrong, and they ate crow all week about it.
What did I say? I said until I see Josh Allen, it's going to be that way for the Chiefs this whole season. Until I see teams go beat them, like I'm still going to think that I still think there's a feel factor to the Chiefs, but Josh Allen and the Bills were not scared this week at all, man.
They were not. They were not. Let's see. Brianna Michaels is here. She says, "I'm here. I'm a Green Bay fan. Welcome. Thanks for checking out the show, Brianna." All right, guys.
Green Bay fan.
What's that?
How you feel about that?
Listen.
I
My
mean,
boss
both
at work
you
is
guys-
my
both
boss
you
at
guys
work
love
is a Green Bay fan, and
Mhm.
I hate it. Anytime they win, he comes in talking about Green Bay. I'm like, bro, I hate the Packers.
Now, Josh is one of those Vikings fans that can't accept that Green Bay is really good. And I'm just telling you right now, if I had to pick today, this far into the season, the championship games, it's Buffalo and LA going up in the AFC. And then in the NFC, it's the Bucks and it's Green Bay, in my opinion. Green Bay, they look solid, man. And
I'm just
you gotta
not
trust
impressed
them.
with them this year. Like
Aaron
Rodgers
is too interested in having an existential crisis to get the job done. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and switch it on over and start picking games for this week.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, guys. So listen, first game this week on Thursday night, we saw Tom Brady beat the Eagles. We don't pick the Thursday night game because, well, it's as Rafiki said, it doesn't matter. It's in the past.
About a better, like a bad beat, as SVP calls it.
Yeah.
That line was 6.5.
Mhm.
The Buccaneers were up like 14.
Yep. That backdoor cover by Philly won some people a lot of money.
The Buccaneers win by 6. Like, I would be so
because he
mad.
went for 2 and didn't need to.
Yeah,
would be
they were
so
trying to
mad.
justify it on the thing, and I was like, I don't
know.
Even if they kick a field goal, like you're still down 9, the game's over. So like, why'd you go for 2? He had money on the game. Pete Rose ain't the only man who gambled on his team.
It definitely looked. I mean, somebody should look into that decision.
Somebody
We're
come
gonna
look
go
at
for
this.
2, guys. That way, we only need 2 field goals.
All right, so we're gonna start.
Stop.
We're gonna start tonight's picks on a hot one. Okay, it's the 9:30 a.m. Eastern time game over in London. You've got the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Miami Dolphins. They're giving Miami a 3-point favor here, so it's Miami -3. What do we think, fellas?
I'll kick us off because I'm gonna say it will soon be the London Jaguars, as they will move from Jacksonville after the Urban Meyer sex tape that's bound to come out at some point this season.
Hold on, unless it's Urban Meyer with Shahid Khan's wife, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm not. Look, I'm just saying they'll.
But if that does happen, I will say that Tony Khan wrote it for the ratings because
he might have.
Anyway, go ahead.
It's with Baco. But anyway,
I would leak it. If I was him, I would leak that myself. Go ahead.
Right. I'm picking the Dolphins just because the Jags bumped me last week. I think the Dolphins still have a solid defense, not elite, not bad. It's right there in the middle. And the Jags, they're hot and cold. They haven't given me anything that I'm in love with yet this season. I thought last week they were going to do it. They didn't. So give me the more veteran defensive-minded team over Urban Meyer and the struggling Jags.
Fair enough. Josh, what do you think on this one, buddy? He doesn't have his headphones on. Chris, go ahead.
Well, I kept looking for a reason to say this might be the week for the Jags, but I just can't see it. I do know that 47 over and under is way too much for these two teams. Two is coming back, so we'll see if that puts any spark in that offense. But I'm going to say the Dolphins. I want to find the Jags win. I kind of like the Jags. I used to live in Jacksonville, so I want them to win at some point. But yeah, I'm gonna say the Dolphins, and I think their defense is just a little bit better. So we'll go with that in a low-scoring affair.
Can I just point out that you brought up the over/under and said it was way too high? So the first game of the night, you said hammer the under, and you're wearing a shirt that says "Life is too short to bet the under."
Well, hey, I didn't put it in our parlay yet, but I'm just saying.
Hey, we have another example.
Barstool over in Hollywood, it has a lot of cool little shirts like that. A lot of stuff that I will wear.
We have another really good example of the NFL saying the Americans aren't going to wake up to watch this garbage game, so let's just send it to Europe. Hopefully they like the game enough that they fly back, and then more people from England are tuning in, and then the Americans can wake up and watch the good football. So I love it.
Yeah. Josh, what do you got, bud?
So the dogs are going nuts right now.
That's all right.
I'm taking Miami in this one. Jacksonville is just they're too bad, man. They look terrible.
Man, they had the Bengals on the ropes. I want to believe
they did in the first half, and then the Bengals were like, "Oh, we're playing a football game. Like, let's wake up." And then that second half wasn't even close. But I'm gonna take Miami. I don't, this is a toilet bowl. I'm surprised the NFL is sending this this quality, I guess, of a game to London.
They went to NFL Europe's games over there.
Listen,
this is a lot better than that.
Hey, this game's not going to get any ratings. You might as well send it to Europe and hope that they have some type of a game and the fans go nuts.
That's fair.
You think anybody on the West Coast is going to be up at like 4 a.m. to tailgating?
6:30 in the morning kickoff.
Let's go Jags over there drinking, slugging beer.
Hell no. Give me Miami in this one. I don't like Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville's due. I think they haven't played great. They haven't really almost won anything, but I do think they're due. I think Miami's definitely a team you can capitalize on. They've got a lot of their own problems. I think Miami is a better team. I think there's definitely a good reason. Jeff Hawthorne says game of the week. That's why you're not. That's why, Jeff. That's why you don't get your own shows. Takes like that. I think if you were gonna pick,
Jeff.
I think if you were gonna pick the Jags, I think this is the smart week to do it. I don't see a lot of opportunity in their schedule, and it's the NFL. They're not going to go 0-16. They're not as bad as that Cleveland team or that Detroit team that went 0-16. So I'm gonna pull the trigger this week. I'm taking Jacksonville. I know it's probably a stupid bet, but I'm gonna do it. And I'll be honest with you.
I want to agree with you, but I can't.
And I get it. I hear what you're saying. You're just wrong, and that's fine. This is the week that the Jags they're not gonna turn it around because they're gonna be back to the same old Jacksonville the week after next. But this is like the equivalent of a bad, a mid-pack SEC team going and playing like a mid-pack ACC team. It's just a bad game. Nobody wants to watch it. It's still the NFL. It's still probably going to be halfway decent football, but I don't know. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get Ship's pick in here. He did send me his picks earlier today, and he also actually took Jacksonville. So there you go.
The only reason people will watch this game over here is because it's the early morning game, and some people like myself prefer to watch a football game rather than like NFL Live or Sunday Countdown.
I bet that many households across America will have this game picture in picture with Joel Osteen on the right and the Jags and Dolphins on the left. They'll be learning.
And it's so money, dead center.
Yeah, it's so money. By the way, 11:45 on Sunday morning after this game. So if you want to bet on this game, you're on your own. You're shit out of luck.
Brings it to my eye. Football, Jesus, and gambling.
Hold on. I'll give you one bet that is paid off every week, but one is Lawrence over rushing yards. I think it's 22.5. Is over. He has went over his total in rushing 4 out of the 5 weeks.
All right, maybe that's one we add to the old team parlay. Chris Mack is here. How are you, Chris? Welcome to the stream. All right, guys. Next game on the docket. Indianapolis hosting Houston. Now, I'm gonna start this one. Okay. Let me start this one. This is another example of bad football. Okay, Indy's not good. Houston's probably the worst team in the NFL, and even they beat Jacksonville. I've got no interest in watching this game. I'm not touching this line with a 10-foot pole. Indy minus 10 is a very stupid bet to pick them to cover. They definitely could, but I don't know. I don't like much about this game. I think Houston's still really bad. Indianapolis has got all sorts of issues. I'm going to take the Colts here, but if there was an option where they could feasibly both lose, that would for sure probably be what happened, but I'm going to take the Colts.
I'll go second. I'll take the Colts in this as well. I think the Texans could pull off an upset, but I think that Baltimore is I don't want to call them a force, but Baltimore is a contender in the AFC, and they had that team down on the road. Give me Indy. I can't bet on Houston and David Mills. I can't do it. So give me Indy.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I agree with that 100%. Davis Mills, the Texans suck. I don't know how they beat Jacksonville other than it was Trevor Lawrence's first game, Urban Meyer's first game. It really is one of those week one anomalies that I think there's a lot of this season. So give me the Colts. I mean, the Colts had Baltimore where they wanted them until they didn't. So I think the Colts I think I wouldn't take it on the big parlay, but I like the Colts at minus 10.
Before you go, I got to ask. So Chris Ferguson's in chat saying he does not think the Texans are the worst team. Chris, while we finish up these thoughts here on this game, I want you to tell me in chat who is the worst team and why you think that, and we might bring that up for panel discussion.
Listen, I can already tell you who he's going to say.
Why don't you just let him answer?
He's going to say Jacksonville because Jacksonville's the worst team in the NFL.
Just let him answer. All right, Chris, go ahead with this game.
Why be so angry with fan participation? I'm kidding.
I don't know.
Anyway, so you want me to tell you who's going to win?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Oh, I thought you were telling me.
No, I'm asking you to tell me.
Oh, I mean, you really just have to go with Indy. Like they should have won last week. I know if your aunt, I get it. I know the line. I really wish Barstool had that shirt. I would buy it. Anyway,
I can just make it for you.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Anyway, and I kind of feel like Indianapolis found their passing game a little bit where that really hadn't been a thing that they were really I felt like it was kind of missing in their game, which opened it up for Jonathan Taylor. So I look for that to just be too much for the Texans, even though the Texans should have won last week and they've been in some games. But yeah, I'll go with Indy.
Fair enough. Ship also goes with Indy. So for the first time this week in the second game, we have our first across-the-board pick there. So we've started out with two pretty bad games. The next game, probably going to be a little bit better. At least it'll be entertaining to watch, I think. But for the next game, we have let's see, who's home team? Chicago is home, hosting the Packers. AFC North matchup. Green Bay's favored by 6 points in this game.
NFC North, not AFC North.
NFC North. Sorry. NFC North. Packers favored by.
You gotta be right about everything.
Listen, he grew an extra hair somewhere and is all heads up about
perfection on this show, fellas.
Yeah, clearly. Let's talk. Never mind. No, let's not. Green Bay on the road at Chicago. Who wants to start?
Me.
Green Bay. Go ahead, Josh.
We'll let the
Green Bay. Fields doesn't look abysmal at quarterback like he did the first week that they threw him in there. But Green Bay's the better team in this. It'll be what's the line?
-6 for Green Bay.
6 and 44.
I think Green Bay covers. I think this is a closer game than people expect. It's a division game. These two teams don't like each other. But the Bears defense hasn't really been the Bears defense of old. Khalil Mack just looks like he doesn't care about playing football anymore.
Seemed like he cared a lot against my team.
Well, yeah,
he definitely gave a damn. I promise you that I heard his name. The reunion of coming back. I got sick of hearing it.
He had a point to prove against Gruden, and against the Raiders, whatever. I just don't see the same energy coming from the Bears in this game. Give me Green Bay.
Okay, fair enough.
With no energy. Wow. Okay.
Funnily enough, I think that the Bears are going to be more ready for the Khalil Mack revenge game than they're going to be for the oldest NFL rivalry game that's coming up now. I think they put a lot into last week. Justin Fields, I'm still not sold, so I'm also going with Green Bay.
Okay, I'll tell you why I'm going for Green Bay. Justin Fields did get hurt last week. He's going to play, mild knee injury. But with him, right, what carries him is his athletic ability. He's a freak athlete. I mean, probably the most athletic quarterback in the league. Great arm, great running ability, makes very poor decisions. If you hinder his strengths, he's got to rely on areas that he's less strong in, obviously making decisions, standing in the pocket, making good passes, things he hasn't done so well. What could have been a bad situation for the Bears, forcing Justin Fields in there so that Nagy can try to save his job, hopefully, has gotten worse with Fields getting banged up. Green Bay's probably the most talented team in the NFC, but they haven't played like it all season, so I think that they're suspect. It wouldn't shock me if Chicago pulled this off, but I can't pick them. Because
you think Green Bay's more talented than Tampa Bay?
No.
They have listen. They have
know.
one receiver. They have one receiver and a star running back, and then their backup running back's pretty good. But Tampa Bay, either Tampa Bay or LA I think has the best roster in the NFC.
Yeah, I'm not saying Green Bay is, but I'm saying if we're talking about the better, more talented teams in the NFC, Green Bay's certainly in the conversation of the upper third, right? I think more my point. I don't think I'm necessarily trying to argue that Green Bay is the most talented team, but I think Green Bay has underperformed for how talented they are. I think some of these other teams have played at a high level like we expected them to, and Green Bay has shown signs of weakness. Frankly, I don't think Green Bay should have been an overtime couple missed field goals from almost losing to the Bengals. I love my Bengals, but let's be honest here. Again, I say all that to say I'm gonna take Green Bay in this game, but Green Bay is gonna get gotten by somebody. I think a healthy Justin Fields.
They're not elite. They're really good.
They're good, but their defense is banged up. They just lost Jair Alexander. He's on the IR. Their starting line or their pass rusher. What's his name? Jordan. What's his name?
Yeah, you came to me at the wrong time. It has a Z in it. Something Smith.
Yeah,
Darius Smith.
Darius Smith.
Kentucky. Get it right.
Sorry, Zadarius Smith is on the IR, probably done for the year. Like, they're banged up on the other side of the ball, and their offense has one receiver, a decent tight end, and a good running back. Like,
you can't just act like Devontae Adams is just one receiver. He's playing, and here we go. He's playing like the best receiver in football, and he probably has been for 2 or 3 years.
There's a reason
he is uncoverable.
There's a reason that all of the NFL fantasy experts take him as the top wide receiver year in and year out.
Every week.
It's not like he just exploded out last season and he's been the best wide receiver for 3 or 4 years. He's getting double covered.
He's
just getting open.
He's
elite. So good, man.
He's elite.
He's redefining what elite wide receiver looks like, if you ask me.
He's their second wide receiver on that team right now.
Doesn't matter when you have him.
Doesn't matter.
And Cobb.
Who was the second wide receiver when Calvin Johnson was in Detroit? It didn't matter. You could have put me out there. Okay. You could have put me out there. They're leaving me wide open on the line because they're double and triple covering Megatron, and I'm not saying Devontae Adams is the next Megatron. I'm just saying that the way that the defenses approach them is very similar, and it's for good reason.
It's 2 or 3 guys on them on most plays, and then that's where you do see guys like Randall Cobb. It doesn't matter who the number 2 is. Just give somebody a pair of sticky Adidas gloves and let them go to woe.
That's part of the reason I think that Aaron Rodgers was so aggressively pursuing being able to kind of have a say in who comes and who goes, is because with Devontae Adams filling the role that he does and the way that defenses approach him, Aaron Rodgers needs other receivers that he trusts, right? That don't necessarily need to worry about being athletic and being able to shake a defender and this and that. He needs guys that he knows are going to be where they're supposed to be when he throws the football. On time receivers who can run routes, because Aaron.
And who did he want? He wanted Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb. Because Aaron Rodgers what can he do, Chris Lane? He can throw the whole route tree. So he needs guys that he can trust to be there when he lets go of that ball. Because I don't know, for those of you who haven't played in the National Football League like I have, these quarterbacks are not waiting for someone to go, here, I'm open. They're throwing the ball at a specific moment based on the coverage and based on the route. And the receivers are not picking that ball up visually until it's almost in their hands, right? And so he needs people to be where they're supposed to be. We saw how important that was last week when the Bengals wide receiver, Tyler Boyd, was not where he was supposed to be when Burrow threw that interception. That looked,
it was a bad interception. At
first, that looked like it was a horrible, no good, very bad mistake by Joe Burrow. When we saw the other angle and we realized, oh, Tyler Boyd wasn't supposed to be there. He was supposed to be over here. We realized that, yes, Joe Burrow still threw the interception. But if I'm the receivers coach, I'm eating 6 inches of chrome out of Tyler Boyd's ass for that, because that was as much on him as it was on Joe Burrow. That being said, Chris Land, who are you taking in this game?
Well, I mean, I'm going to take the Packers because they're the better team, and we're just trying to pick winners. And the Bears have played better the last 2 weeks. I will give it to their defense has played better. And I think if healthy David Montgomery was there, I think that would have changed a lot of things in this game. Now they're on their third string running back in Chicago now. His last name is Herbert, and I have it written
like
down.
Khalil Herbert.
That's pronounced. Yeah. I think it's pronounced Sherbert.
No, it's Khalil Herbert.
Anyway, so I don't think a rookie quarterback with a third string tailback is going to beat the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going to take the Packers. And I think Aaron Jones has probably his best day of the season in this matchup.
Fair enough. Who do you guys think Ship took to this game?
He took the Packers. He ain't dumb.
Yeah, correct. He did take the Packers. He would have a lot of stats about rookie quarterbacks going up against Aaron Rodgers and how they rarely win. He would also have a lot of stats about Green Bay playing in Soldier Field. He would then have some stats about Devontae Adams leading in fantasy, and then he would tell us, none of that matters, I'm taking Green Bay. So I've got Ship pretty well down to a T here. So let's talk the next game on the board. We've got Washington hosting the Chiefs. So the Washington football team hosting the Kansas City Chiefs, which is maybe potentially a racist term if you ask certain people. So this will be an interesting social justice battle.
Nobody's offended by a good chef.
And I vote that both teams are canceled. That's what I vote.
I vote that this is Chris Land's almost Super Bowl pick, isn't it? This is a preview, isn't it?
I mean, look.
I don't think I've ever missed anything as bad as I've missed this Washington team.
You have. Holly's told me.
Oh no. Anyway, I just cannot believe, and I kept thinking, they'll figure it out, but they're not going to figure it out. I don't think they can, and I don't know. I don't understand why they were dominant for probably the last 6 weeks of the season. They're one of the most dominant defenses in football, and this year they can't stop the screen door from slamming loud. I mean, it's just terrible. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. I like Riverboat Ron, but come on, dude. You got to make a tackle, and the Chiefs are desperate. They got to win because it don't look like that. It doesn't look like the Chargers are going to come back to them. I think Chargers are better than them. So, I just think that the Chiefs know they have to win and get on the right track now. So a desperate Chiefs team against a bad Washington team is the way to go with the Chiefs. But I do think it's a shootout because, if Terry McLaurin's playing, it's a shootout. If it's not, it's a wipeout.
I'm going to tell you why this defense is the way it is, and it's my new pound the table for good defenses do not translate year to year. They just don't. You can be a top 12 unit. If you are like the number one defense, you are not a number one defense the next year. There's too much ball luck. There's too much, just random shit that happens, man.
I get it, but
it just doesn't translate.
It's the same players almost. They didn't have a lot of
turnover. It doesn't matter who you are.
It's not like you thought that Young, what's his name? Young?
Chase Young.
I mean, did you think that he wouldn't have done nothing so far this
No,
year?
I thought Washington was going to win that division this season, but
So did
because they've
I.
been so bad, that's why all this whole good defenses just don't go year to year. It just doesn't. Somewhat Dallas is the team this year. The defense is looking like it's extraordinary. This is a bold spot. Next
I
year,
got some
Dallas's
stats.
defense is going to be bad. But we're not talking about Dallas. We're talking about this game. I don't think it matters. This is a blowout for the Chiefs. The Chiefs do whatever they want with this Washington defense. And I don't think Washington's offense can even.
Wait till you
I'm talking about like
see.
a 52-24 blowout, not like a 52-51 shootout. This is big Chiefs win. Big.
Wait
I
till you
think McLaurin-
see the Chiefs stack I got for FanDuel on Sunday, guys.
I think that McLaurin eats if he plays because the Chiefs defense is like Swiss cheese. And
yeah, it's the only way. If you have Heineke, it's the only way. If McLaurin doesn't play, you've got to find another quarterback to stream, by the way.
right. So I agree with Jordan. I think the Chiefs rout them here. They just got embarrassed by Buffalo at home in prime time on Sunday night. I don't think this is close. Washington's defense is terrible. They're towards
An
the
away
bottom.
game might not be a bad thing for them.
Yeah, well, they're towards the bottom of the bucket when it comes to defensive rankings. Kansas City's got an elite offense. This is an easy pick. Give me Kansas City.
So, all right, here's the thing. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this game. I'm not going to keep everybody in suspense, okay? But here's the deal. This is the battle of last year, right? This is the battle of last year. You have probably the top offense in the league in the Chiefs last year. Probably the top defense in the league last year in Washington. I don't think Washington was statistically number one, but they were really good, especially those last 6-7 weeks like we've talked about. In both cases, little turnover, little variable, little change. Here we are, a new season. Where's the performance? Okay? Let's quit talking about Washington's not what they were last year. What about the Chiefs? What's different besides it's a new season? People, is the league figuring Patrick Mahomes out? Is Patrick Mahomes no longer somebody tried to tell me last year, I don't think it was any of you guys, somebody tried to tell me if Patrick Mahomes breaks his legs today, this is in the middle of last season, breaks his legs today and never plays again, he's still a Hall of Famer. It's the most
I remember that.
It's the best, was it on this show?
Anyway, I think we
Definitely on
discussed
this
it.
show.
So
No,
we
somebody-
I actually think it was when I
There was
was
a
on
sports talk.
location.
There was a sports talk show that said if Patrick Mahomes broke his legs
That's what it
today
was.
and never played football again, would he be a Hall of Famer? And the answer is no.
Well, correct, but people were saying he was, and this is exactly why. Because you either die the hero or you live long enough to become the villain. And trust me when I tell you, Patrick Mahomes is not going to put together a 20-year career of dominating the NFL like everyone thought he would. He's going to be really good for a long time. Probably will end up in the Hall of Fame. But if he got hit by a bus tomorrow, okay, if he got in, it'd be a sympathy vote. All right, you've got to carry over. You've got to continue. The point is this. We cannot look at what teams did last year when we're making picks for this year. We cannot look at what teams did last year.
You have to in those early games.
Well, you've got nothing else. But as we all know, I mean, look at the pick'em records from the first 2 weeks where we all barely went 500, and now the last couple of weeks, where we get to say, they are who we thought they were, all that kind of shit. We're picking better. So, it's why I don't think there should be any college football or basketball rankings until halfway through the season, because you really don't know. That being said, I'm going to take the Chiefs here, like I mentioned. I think the Chiefs are a better team. I think the Chiefs having still a pretty good offense and the Washington defense being completely gone, non-existent, it's a shell of what it was last year, does not bode well for Washington. I think that the Chiefs eat tremendously in this game. Ship agrees with us as well, so we're the Chiefs across the board.
If I can just throw one more thing in, one last little tidbit. We need to stop talking about the Chiefs chasing for the 1 seed or the division. They're chasing the Browns. They're chasing the Bengals. They're chasing
wild card
spots right now. They're not. I don't think they are a division winner this season.
So I just looked at the remaining schedule for the Chiefs. So do you think that 10-6 gets you into
Probably.
So they have to go 8-3 for the rest of the season to get.
You have 17 games this year. You play 17 this year.
That's right. Okay, so do you think 10 so you think 10 wins get you with 17 games?
Close. I mean, I think it's close, especially in the
It
AFC.
used to
where
be
I think
10,
good teams,
10 and you're in was almost very few teams won 10 games in regular season and didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
So now is it 11?
I think so. I think if the
Yeah.
Chiefs, I think the Chiefs' playoff hopes hinge on the division record in that they have to at least split with Vegas, and I think they have to sweep Denver. I think that's what's required for them to get in, and I think if they end up losing, they don't do that exactly. I think it's very difficult for them to get in because I think they do. I don't know exactly, but I believe they have a pretty tough schedule looking ahead. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough.
I mean, they have to win 9 games.
Listen, that's a tough road. Now, if Andy Reid can find what he found last year and strike, get lightning in a bottle again, I mean, maybe. I mean, they're definitely talented enough. No one questions that. But
would you ever guess that they would be at a -9 point differential, the Chiefs?
No. Nope. I mean, maybe their defense is pretty bad, but
yeah, but if you just said that they're going to be outscored at this after this many games, after 5 games, 163 to 154, people would have took that bet.
I think their defense has to come back down to earth, though. It has to.
They're still banged up.
It can be, obviously, because records get set in the NFL. It can't be the worst defense we've ever seen.
No.
for 17 weeks.
I've been a Bengals fan for a long time. I can assure you it's not the worst defense we've ever seen.
But right now, statistically, it is the worst defense of all time. It has to kind of even itself out and get into that, like, if it's the 25th.
Statistically, Matt Stafford is a surefire Hall of Famer, and I don't think anyone would say he's a surefire Hall of Famer.
Stat pad phone. When are we picking that Rams game?
So, all right. So we're all picking the Chiefs across the board. Shipped it as well. Let's catch up with chat. Parker and Christina are both here. Hello, how are you? She says, let's go Antonio Gibson. She knows Antonio Gibson. I forget how. She told me one time off stream. Yeah, Parker's just wearing us out about the Chiefs. He just doesn't like them at all. Let's see here. Brianna's picking the Chiefs. Craig Ferguson says no, ! Not sure what that was from or response to, but it was a little bit ago. So next game on the board, she says they went to school together. That's how she knows Antonio Gibson. There you go. You have your answer. Next game on the board, Carolina, the Vikings. Let's see what we got here.
Start.
Chris, go ahead.
I mean, because, our resident Viking fans will want the floor. I think it's a very interesting game. I could make an argument for both teams.
Sorry, Chris. I meant Chris Ferguson. Craig Ferguson's the guy that used to be on TV, and I used to watch him all the time. It's a slip of the tongue. Go ahead.
Oh, so I don't believe in Sam Darnold. Even though I don't believe in the secondary of the Vikings either. I do believe in the Carolina's defense, but I do believe in the Vikings offense. So, I mean, it's a complete every time I take the Vikings, because I feel like they have more firepower, they don't do much. And I just don't think, I really just don't think Carolina's that good. I wish I could wait till Sunday to see who's playing.
Yeah, you know what? Let's pause the show until Sunday so Chris can make this pick easier.
Well, I'll call it in, guys. I'll let you know at 11:45.
All right.
You know
so
what?
In that case,
I'm gonna go with
today, Junior.
I'm going with the Panthers.
Ooh, I knew he was going to do it. I knew when he hesitated he was going to do it. Listen, I think Sam Darnold is showing he's better than what we thought he was on the Jets. But I've said it since the beginning of the season. I think the Bengals pulled off a pretty solid upset beating the Vikings in week 1. Obviously, the Bengals are better than we thought they were going to be, but I still think we've not seen the Vikings at true potential. Kirk Cousins is still a good quarterback. They've got a lot of weapons. I mean, they really do. I'm sure our Vikings fans are going to fill us in on who's in and out as far as injuries on this game. Pat Redmond says it's shotgun time. What's up, Pat? Shotgun one for me, buddy.
Oh my gosh, I miss that guy.
I'm gonna go. I've got to go Minnesota here. I mean, I really just do. I think the Vikings are the better team. I think I agree with some of the criticisms you said, Chris, but I think Kirk Cousins gets this done. I think does he go by Big Dick Kurt still? I guess we'll have to have Jordan fill us in on that.
But yeah, Viking Lucio will have to fill us in.
I mean, Dalvin Cook is back and healthy.
Dalvin Cook's back. It doesn't look like McCaffrey's playing.
He's not.
Hubbard. I have
Right.
Hubbard on one of my fantasy teams. He's projected like
Chuba.
way up higher than Chuba. I'm gonna take Minnesota. I don't think the Vikings record is as bad as it looks. You are what your record is. I get we're a couple missed kicks. Arizona should have a loss. Minnesota's not as bad as people think they are. A couple fumbles. We almost lost the game last week against Detroit on a last second fumble. Thankfully our kicker made a 52-yard field goal to win the game when he was short from 49.
Me and Holly was watching that game, and I was like, you do realize that Josh and Jordan right now are completely losing their mind with anger.
I think it looked at Jordan
and then at the end, she starts laughing when they won. I was like, now they're hugging each other.
I looked at Jordan and I looked at my dad and I said, "You've got to be kidding me! Like this isn't happening. This is not happening against the Lions." But Goff looked pretty good. I like Minnesota. Danielle Hunter's I think ranked 3rd or 4th right now in the league.
Pronounced
sacks.
Danielle Hunter.
Danielle Hunter, whatever. He's like 3rd or 4th right now in the league with sacks.
He's good. I'd take him in Cincinnati.
He's pretty good. And he's pretty fast. You see people try to get the edge, and he's just as fast, if not faster than some running backs, and just can chase him down. I like Minnesota in this game. Road favorite, against a Carolina team that's a little banged up. We'll see how Kirk can play. If we air the ball out and we use Jefferson and Thielen, and take some shots.
I need Adam Thielen to come back and play.
He's not doing anything.
Hey, not to interrupt, but Ship also is taking the Vikings in this game, so that leaves one more person to pick.
Man. Go ahead. That's my pick.
El Viking Lucho atones after almost being embarrassed, but kicking out at 2 and 0.99 seconds to avoid miserable defeat against the Lions. And he atones this week to say, look, I said it last week. I didn't put the mask on. I said the Vikings are due to lay a dud, and they typically do it once a year against a really bad team in a game that you have to win. Luckily, the Lions somehow are finding ways to lose games on last-second 50-yard plus field goals. So I'm just saying, we win last week. It was a bad game. Mike Zimmer even said in his post-game locker room speech they posted, he was like, we have a lot of things to clean up. He said in the press conference, no one's happy about that game, but they got out with a win, a game they probably stole. Okay, let's move on. At least we didn't get blown out by Atlanta like we did last year.
I want to make one point. We have talked about the worst teams in the NFL, and the Lions are 0-5, and not once has their name came up.
No, they've lost. They've lost so close.
They're the same way. They're 3 kicks away from having 3 wins.
That's not true.
They're 2 kicks.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But their plus minus is minus 40 this year. They've only scored 98 points this year and given up 138.
But still, I don't care. Like they got blown out a couple of times.
Look, if the Vikings, if the Lions could play the Texans 8 times and the Jags 8 times, they're going 14-3. I'm just saying. Yeah. They're better than those teams. They just are.
The Lions are the best of the bad teams.
I'm just trying to say that the 0-5 team has not come up as far as the worst teams in the NFL.
They don't deserve to be in that conversation. But anyway, back to the Vikings. I think they got that trash game out of their system. And I'm gonna do something I don't usually do. I'm gonna be optimistic and say I think they're going to come out with some fire. The offense has looked really bad. Like, can't run the ball on anybody. They're calling bullcrap quick passes out of an empty set. I think this is week number 1 of Christian Darrisaw, Stoughton at left tackle. I'm all giddy about that. So I think Darrisaw is going to look good in his debut. Cousins is going to stay clean, and the Vikings win this one 27-17 in Carolina, and the Vikings go into the bye. And then they got a tough schedule, and they're about to be 3-7, folks. But hey, we'll talk about those games over the next month.
So chat wants to know what the hell Jordan is wearing. So Jordan is El Viking Lucha, which is a Minnesota Vikings luchador mask. And Ryan Bushmeyer wants to know if Tomlin is still overrated. I think
overrated? No,
yeah.
he's properly rated. He's
properly rated.
Trash. So
I love Pittsburgh fans because they are just like UK basketball fans.
Yeah.
No matter how many wins they get, our coach sucks when we lose something. I mean, it's like, get the hell out of here.
Look, this year is proving that Mike Tomlin is not a good coach. And Mike Tomlin, along with Ben Roethlisberger,
right?
will be packing his shit at the end of this season. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, and he's going to get his gold jacket fitted. Anyway,
he's not leaving at the end of this season. What are you talking about? The head coach does not make decisions to bring in quarterbacks and to re-sign quarterbacks that have been done and cooked for 3 seasons now.
I'm not saying it's because Ben Roethlisberger is still there. I'm saying that he's gone after this season. Just watch.
I wonder if they'll put Roethlisberger's what do they call the head? What do they call it?
Bust.
The butt. I wonder if they'll put that like in a bar restroom in a corner of the Hall of Fame.
Easy. We lost a lot of good co-eds out there. Okay. All right. So Bushmeyer says Mike Tomlin to USC. Please let that happen. I will love watching him get beat up on by freaking Stanford and Oregon State every year. That'll be great.
And Mike Epps Jr. ain't going to the old USC.
Mike Epps Jr. That's funny. Anyway, you're thinking of Omar Epps, Mike's cousin. That's who Tomlin actually looks like. But anyway, next game on the board. Finally a great game for us to talk about here, guys. Chat, get ready. Man, when chat attacks, they're all telling me that I am wrong and that Tomlin isn't going anywhere. Well, you guys just wait and see. So listen, next game on the board, a good game. We've got Baltimore hosting the Chargers. Baltimore's currently a 2.5-point favorite. I've seen the line favoring the Chargers by 1 or 2 points at various times throughout the week. So this one's kind of essentially a pick 'em, not really, but kind of. Chris Land, why don't you start us with this one, bud?
Ooh, I love this game. I mean, it is. I think it's going to be a fireworks. I don't see either. I think Cleveland showed how to score last week, and I don't think anybody's stopping the other side of the ball for Baltimore because they don't seem like really a defensive juggernaut. I think they're more hyped than more hype than what their actual stats are against good offenses. So I'm going with the Chargers. I get Lamar and but I also see a limited offense as far as it's the quarterback as the running game, and everybody talks about the Baltimore running game, but it's the quarterback. So I see where that goes there, but I think that golly, the fantasy options for the Chargers in this game are going to be just great. Anyway, I'm taking the Chargers. I like the Chargers, and I don't want to root for the damn Baltimore Ravens any damn way. So let's go Chargers.
I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon there of the Chargers. They look really good this year. They can score.
And they can get stops.
And the running game for you hit on it. The running game for Baltimore is Lamar. That's it. So give me the Chargers. I think they come away with an upset in this one.
200%. I think it's the Chargers. I just don't think you're stopping Justin Showboat. That offense looks potent. It seems like if you make one bad decision, they've got weapons everywhere that will make you pay for that bad decision. And, Baltimore had to really pull out all the stops against Indy, who I don't think is that good of a team. Right. I do think there is a playbook to kind of not shut down, but to limit what Lamar Jackson does with his legs. And he doesn't have all of the weapons, I think, necessary to really compete in a shootout with the Chargers. Not to mention Brandon Staley is not one of these, old-minded head coaches that says, we're up 20, let's start playing prevent defense with 15 minutes to go in the game. He's going to keep the foot on the gas, and he'll beat you by 50 before he lets you come back from down 20. So I like the Chargers a lot this year. Justin Showboat.
I agree. I like what you say right
He looks like a pizza-faced high school kid, but God, is he good at throwing footballs. So
Man, he
give me
makes
Justin
so many good
Showboat.
reads.
Just keep eating it up. Just keep eating it up like Zeke. It's the Chargers.
I love it. I'm just gonna jump in real quick. You will see a Chargers defense that can make more plays than the Colts defense did.
Yes, I
So
agree with that.
I think that's the difference. But anyway,
I just want to say this really quickly. We didn't talk about it. The Browns carrying Austin Eckler into the end zone last week was one of the best football plays I've ever seen. I know they lost the game, but they would have lost if they didn't carry him in. They wouldn't have even given their offense a chance. That was incredible. As a football geek, that was the best thing I've seen all season, was the Browns defense literally grabbing him and carrying him against his will to a touchdown. It was
it cost me a win in fantasy.
That's funny.
I got beat by a guy that was trying not to score. That's when you just got. I went 4-1 in my 5 leagues, and I got beat by a guy trying not to score from having a perfect fantasy day. That's how you're living, son. Let me tell you.
It was very solid, though.
So look,
it was.
I hear what you guys are saying about the Chargers. I agree with you. They're very good. Herbert has surprised a lot of people this year. He's going to continue to do so. I think he has a good game. I think there's a chip on Lamar Jackson's shoulder because Baltimore has underperformed what they're capable of this year. I think this is a little bit of a coming out party for Lamar Jackson. I think and this is all going to hinge around his individual performance. If Lamar Jackson plays well, has a great game, Baltimore wins this game. If he doesn't, they don't. But I'm counting on Lamar to step it up this week. I'm going to take Baltimore, and I think Lamar carries Baltimore to a victory. I think it's going to be close. I don't think either team gets blown out here.
It's the best 1 o'clock game.
It's gonna be a good game. I'm excited to watch it, but I'm taking Baltimore here. I will say also that Mr. Ship has elected to join the rest of you and take the Chargers. Any final
Go Chargers!
Any final thoughts on this game?
I hope that the Chargers wear the powder blue jerseys because those are the best jerseys.
They can't lose in them. How do you lose in
with
those?
The yellow pants, it's just the best.
Yep.
Minnesota's wearing their all whites. I like Minnesota's all whites.
Oh yeah, all whites are good.
All right. You know what? Never mind. We'll get to I want a little round table later but there's a Minnesota like old story that I've ever read about. I need to know if y'all know about it.
So next game on the docket, Detroit hosting the Bengals. Cincinnati's favored by 3.5 on the road. I'm going to start this game. I think the Bengals have definitely shown up big this year. I think they're surprising everybody based on just what we expected from them. I don't think Detroit's the worst team in the NFL, to circle back to what we had talked about earlier. What I do think is that the Bengals are going to need to play well, or they might drop this game. I mean, let's be honest about that. But I don't think the Bengals will. I think they've been playing good. I think they're finally starting to get a rhythm. Their offensive line has played way better than anyone thought. I think that's really been driving this. But I mean, dude, Burrow to Jamar Chase is probably a top 3 tandem in football right now. I mean, it's just electric. So looking for the Bengals to score a lot of points. Detroit's not really all that sound on defense, so I'm gonna take the Bengals, and I would say Cincinnati covers.
I want to piggyback. There it is. That's the one use of the word that I'm allowed. I want to piggyback on that. And I just want to point out, I had Boyd and Chase sitting in front of me at my fantasy draft, and I said, I'll go with Chase because I just love what I saw from him. Good pick, Jordan Hawthorne. That's why I beat Josh by 50 last week. But I'm also
or it's because Russell Wilson ruptured a tendon in his finger and didn't do jack squat.
Okay, those 20 more points would have only saved you 30 points blowout.
You
but whatever, it doesn't matter.
30 on the hip.
Listen,
yeah,
we'll talk at the end of the year.
Yeah, we will. But I'm also going to go with the Bengals. This is close. And this is one where if Jacksonville didn't bone me last week, I would probably go Detroit. I just can't pick them until they prove to me they can win. And this is Detroit's like, hey, if you're going to win a game, this is a good place to start. So I'm going with the Bengals because their offense is just too potent to not fall in love with. But Detroit has been right there with a lot of good teams this season, so I don't think that they're just going to get blown out of the water by Jamar Chase and all them boys. So give me the Bengals, but keep your eye out on this one.
Who's next?
Unlike my brother, I have a set of balls. I'm going to take Detroit in this. I think I think Detroit
This is
is.
when I wish I had the sound thing that would go.
I'm taking Detroit because yes, the Bengals offense has looked good, but I think that Detroit can run the ball with Swift. Jared Goff doesn't look miserable at quarterback like he did in LA. And I'm still not sold on the Bengals defense. So give me Detroit in an upset at home.
Wow. Okay, Chris, what do you think?
I'm just going to take the Bengals because I know Joe Burrow is going to have at least 2 touchdown passes, and I think Mixon's going to have a pretty solid day. I do think Swift is the kind of is going to have a big day. I would not be surprised if this game both teams get into the upper 20s and into the 30s because the offensive side of the ball is far better than the defensive side of the ball on for both teams. I'm going to take the better quarterback right now, and Joe Burrow has 2 touchdowns or more in every single game this year, and I'm gonna ride that hot hand. I think Joe Burrow is going to be a huge, a highly owned DFS guy for people who aren't paying up for the Patrick Mahomes. I think he will be your most used second tier, and I don't think anybody's going to take off at all in daily fantasy. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I need to see you win one, Lions. You've cost me a couple of times.
And let's not act like the Lions offense was cooking against the Vikings defense last week.
It was not.
We missed a field goal, gave them the ball at midfield. They scored a touchdown. They stripped our running back and they went 10 yards to get a touchdown. It wasn't like they were boning up on offense until the very end.
I'm with I even though the Bengals choked it, they deserved to win, and this conversation would be totally different had that kid kick that field goal against the Packers.
I agree.
So, Chris Ferguson, that's an interesting take. I like it. I like both those quarterbacks. So make sure you jump in on It's So Money Sunday morning at 11:45 with Chris Land right here on 4 Laps Down. He's going to be running through all your starts and sets. Chris Ferguson says he's starting Big Dick Joe Burrow over Dak Prescott this week. Interesting.
I like it. I do like that, by the way.
So next,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, next game on the docket. I don't know if it's going to be a good game or not. I'll let you guys tell me. It's the New York Football Giants hosting the Los Angeles Football Rams. LA's a big favorite, -8.5 on the road. But Chris Land, as you say, West Coast teams traveling to East Coast. Now, this is a 4 o'clock game. But that being said, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, one team's good, one team's bad. So I don't care how long the plane ride is in this one. It doesn't matter. Daniel Jones does look like he is going to play. And
I think they're going to have a short leash on him, though.
Yeah, my thing is this. It's just I don't see the Giants being able to put on sustained drives in this matchup, and I don't think the Giants are capable of doing that very often, especially given their injury situations. No Galladay, no Saquon. I just can't see a path for a victory for the Giants. I've told everybody from the preseason on, I thought the Giants were going to be terrible, and they are, and they're beat up. So I'm definitely on the other side of this game. So and you could probably see some good fantasy numbers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams, and that's all I'm going to say because it's an easy pick.
Thank you.
I always expect teams to either get better or worse every year, and the Giants are the same.
Hold on. Besides those two things, what would they get? Herpes?
They'd stay the same. No, they would stay the same. Tell me if you have heard this one before. Daniel Jones has a couple of good games. He looks really fast and athletic, but he makes some questionable decisions. Oh, and Saquon Barkley's probably done for the year. Oh, he's injured, has a serious leg injury. It's the same old shit with the Giants as it is every year. It's the Rams, and it's the Rams big.
Rams.
I'm not showing that game on this side here. What do you got it at there, Nathan?
8.5.
Pound it.
A road 8.5. All right, so I'll write that down because I want to see, because we still got to put our bet together, boys.
Yeah, I don't think that one's going to make the cut. A road 8.5 favorite is pretty strong. But It was an easy pick. Next game.
What's the over/under?
That I don't know. I didn't write it down.
I'll find it.
Well, life's too short to bet the under, so it's always
but you might want the under if the Giants might not score more than fucking 4.
So we're across the board. We're across the board with the Rams there. This next game is going to be pretty interesting.
The only way that the Giants can score 4 is 2 safeties. I don't think that they're going to get
incorrect. That's just incorrect. If they get safetied on a field goal return, it is a 1-point play, you son of a bitch.
Oh, look at my boy out of nowhere. It is 48.5, and they're at no freaking way unless the Rams gets 40 of them. That game gets to 48.5. I love the under in that game, and I don't care how sweet life is.
Nathan's lead-in was, let's see if this is going to be a good game. Like, what?
I know it's not a good game. This next one,
Nate Dogg, we love you.
This next one is going to be a good game. I'm excited to watch this game. I'm excited to talk about this game. This is the Dog Pound Cleveland football team. The shit stains up on the lake up there, who are the worst. It's objectively the worst franchise in sports history, the Cleveland Browns. I know no respectable people who are fans of this team. I know no good podcasts about this team. I hate the Browns, but somehow, and I made Chris Land double check this because I said bullshit. No way. The Browns are favored by 3 points over the undefeated Arizona Cardinals. What in the actual fuck is going on in Vegas with this line?
Kingsbury has COVID, and so does Chandler Jones. Arguably the best defensive player.
Let's just make picks right here.
I know.
Hey.
I know, but still.
No Nick Chubb.
No Nick Chubb this game.
Yeah.
But Kareem Hunt's fine.
Doesn't matter.
That's not that big of a deal for
it does
Cleveland.
matter. Nick Chubb's number 2 in the NFL in rushing.
Their third string rookie that they drafted he could start on 10 teams.
No.
Name
me.
Hold on. Who could start on 10 teams?
The third string running back for Cleveland.
Who is
crazy?
I can't even tell you his name.
Oh, good. That's a smart take. I don't know his name, but damn it, he'd start for Jacksonville and BYU and Thomas More College in Northern Kentucky. He's good, damn it.
I want to know who Josh is picking then. If he thinks the Browns running backs are so potent, who do you have in this game?
Yeah, show us your ass, buddy. Not literally. We don't want to get banned. This is Facebook, remember?
I'm taking Cleveland. I'm taking Cleveland. And for my Browns fans out there, give me the ho, 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 ho. Cleveland wins this game, hands Arizona their first loss.
I agree with Josh, but I'm still picking the Cardinals because I can't. It's one of the. I just like. Man, my heart is with Cleveland.
Jordan, you're tied for last place in the Pick'em standings.
I don't give a fuck.
But they don't have a rookie that's on that. They have.
Who's their third string?
D'Ernest Johnson from.
Did
South
they draft him
Florida.
last year?
D'Ernest Johnson. Didn't he save Christmas?
I don't know. Anyway, it's his 3rd year out of South Florida. Oh no! They have Demetric Felton, who may get 3 snaps.
Hey, here's the question: did D'Ernest Johnson save Christmas with the Globetrotters or with Batman?
Was it on the Scooby-Doo episode?
No, you idiots. It was a reference to Ernest Saves Christmas, which everyone, including Chris Land, is probably too young to know the reference.
No. Anyway. By the way, if you want to get into that guy graduated from Lafayette High School, where I graduated, and like his nieces and nephews and shit I graduated with.
Oh my God, you're famous.
All right, Chad.
I don't know him, but he started out with like some really local, you know what I mean, Vern stuff, and it just blew up until he got to do movies. But he's one of the nicest people you will ever meet, or you would have ever met. He's passed away now.
Yeah, Ernest movies were fun. I watched them as a kid because
Ernest Saves Christmas.
My family was hillbillies, and I was raised by them. And my babysitter when I was young was also a hillbilly.
I like your dad more than I like you.
That's because you're my dad's age. Let's be honest about that.
Like
okay,
you're a smart ass little punk.
All right, listen. I'm gonna hide behind this fireball, okay? I'm gonna hide, but you guys can't see this because you have a different camera angle. But if you pull up the stream, I'm hiding behind this fireball because I'm gonna make a really obscure pick here. I'm gonna take the Cardinals as an underdog to stay undefeated because the Browns are banged up. I don't care that Cliff Kingsbury has syphilis or COVID or whatever it is. I don't care. The Cardinals are the better team. I refuse to believe. Listen, this line was set by somebody that had a little bit too much of this. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Cardinals, and I'm going to be correct, and the rest of y'all motherfuckers is going to be wrong. Next.
Wrong.
I don't know if you heard me. I agree with Josh, but I'm picking Arizona because they're undefeated, and I'm not.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I put the wrong logo up there. My fault.
I'm taking the Browns, and I'm going to for a couple of reasons. And if Chubb was playing, I would have been like, give me all I can get on him. But
he's not. He's
okay,
not.
I get it. But listen, Kyler Murray hurt his shoulder.
Oh, to the Oakland A's.
Listen to me. Last year, before he hurt his shoulder, average completion was 8 yards a game, 8 yards per pass. After he hurt his shoulder, it was 4 yards per pass. He runs less when he's protecting his shoulder. He got dinged up last week. I'm trying to tell you, the 72 Dolphins will be having a toast come about 7:45 on Sunday because the Browns are going to win that game. Cheers.
Well, Ship agrees with me. He's not here, but he agrees with me, and that means he's right.
Josh and Chris are the outliers. I don't know. It's tough to pick against an undefeated team. It just. Especially one. It's not like I beat Houston and Washington. They beat the damn Rams.
I watched that same undefeated team almost lose to the Minnesota Vikings, who aren't an elite team this year. I watched them almost lose to us, and they didn't because our kicker sucks. It is what it is. They didn't lose the game. They're technically undefeated, but
yeah, didn't they also beat the Rams by like 15?
That's fine. Well, let's watch them beat Cleveland on the road. Go ahead.
Let's see what happens.
I will tell you, Cleveland's defense is a whole new problem.
Monster.
I mean, you got it's coming back on the other side.
Clowney.
Clowney's coming back on the other side, man, and that's the big difference. I mean, you
go ahead. Let's watch Kyler run around and watch Myles Garrett try to take his helmet off and put it back on him.
It's gonna be a good game.
I'll
tell you that much.
That man committed a hate crime against Mason Rudolph, and you know it.
Mason Rudolph should be. Oh no, we'll talk about that off stream.
We can't do that anyway. So the Raiders is next.
The next game, Denver hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. Denver's a home favorite, -1, and
-4, aren't they?
What's that?
It's -4, isn't it?
What'd I say?
-1.
-4 is correct. You're correct, sir. I was testing you. It's 4.
Don't ever test me.
It's just math, right?
I'm the smartest man alive.
Who's picking the damn Broncos in this one? Because this is Vegas.
I'm taking Vegas.
Josh is taking Vegas. That's it. No thoughts. No nothing.
No thoughts. I think Vegas plays better without the coach there. Different. It's a spark. Give me Vegas.
Yeah, there's always there's that slew of head coach firings typically around this time of year where you start seeing new head coaches that have been they've been coaching assistants for 5, 6, maybe 10 years. They get that head coaching gig, and guys just play hard for them. And Vegas is going to play hard for whoever the interim head coach is. And it's not like Vegas is a bad team that fired John Gruden because he was a bad coach. Off the field issues, what it is. This new coach is stepping in. They're going to play really tough for this guy. So give me Vegas. And God, Denver was just pretenders, weren't they? They really were just pretenders.
Yeah, I don't think Bridgewater is. I've never thought he was all that good. He's kind of in that category with Jameis Winston. He'll win you a couple games. He'll do some questionable stuff off the field, but go to Louisville. But besides that,
I mean, he did go to an elite college.
Quit it.
You could argue that's QBU.
Yeah. Well, there's more quarterbacks in the NFL from Louisville than Ohio State, and we'll leave it at that. Starting quarterbacks.
I'll just take the Broncos, guys.
Are you really taking Denver?
Explain yourself.
You can't do that.
Hey guys, I don't know if you all did, but I watched every snap of the Raiders game against the Bears, and it was horrible.
There was
And
also
hold on,
speculations flying around the locker room.
I get I don't
Distractions.
I get that, but let me just tell you, as a guy who lined up and played football and hit people, the last thing we gave a fuck about was what that coach said. We don't give a shit. I mean, and we got to make a play, and a subpar Bears team laid the wood to them at home last week. Let me just tell you, I've been telling you, I thought my Raiders were going to come in last in the division, and they are way more pretenders than the Broncos. The Broncos have a defense to fall back on. The Broncos you're getting ready to see probably they're going to go on a run of elite running performances with Javante and Gordon. You're getting ready to see that happen with Denver, and so Bridgewater's 2 weeks out of concussion. He's not going to have to throw the ball, but I'm just trying to tell you, I think that my Raiders are way more pretenders than the Broncos.
You would have gotten me to switch my pick if instead of saying Javante and Golden, you would have said Javante and Melvin, because Melvin's just a mean name. But you didn't.
It
so I'm
is.
sticking
Have
with
you ever met a
Baker.
guy named Melvin that couldn't fight?
Now, I've seen one that runs pretty hard in the NFL, but not hard enough to
But
beat
I'm
Vegas
just
this week.
telling you guys, I've been on pretty much on the Raiders on what they're going to do every week because I'm paying attention every single day to what's going on there, and it is not a winning attitude that's anything that's coming out of that locker room. So I'm going to go with the Broncos. I'm going to root for the Raiders because I'll eat the fucking jerky if the Raiders win the rest of the games for the rest of the year and I pick against them. I'm fine with that. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah,
Max Crosby's better than Bradley Chubb, just by the way.
So, all right, look, I think both of these teams are a little bit pretenders, but I do think the Raiders are a better team than Denver. I'm not certain. I actually agree with you, Chris. I don't know how much the Gruden stuff is going to really affect them on the field. I think it's going to affect them a lot less than what people are assuming it will, but I don't think it's completely pointless, right? If nothing else, you've got, and can't think of his name. You got their special teams coordinator is now the interim head coach. He has never been a head coach at any level.
Right.
Okay. Any level. He's in over his head. I think Denver has shown sparks this year, but never really put a lot of impressive, back-to-backs together. I'm going to go Denver here. I'm nervous about it. It wouldn't shock me if the Raiders win, but I am going to go Denver. And Ship took the Raiders as well. So before we jump into the next game, I want to... Go ahead.
Sounds like
Did you watch that Denver team play against an old willow tree Big Ben last week? Did you watch any of that game?
I understand. Hey, I get it. There was a lot of question marks of what was going to go on with that game before, road game, early. But now you're going to the altitude for an afternoon game.
But the weather doesn't affect games.
Correct.
Nathan.
I would.
Oh, no. Altitude can to an extent, but not weather.
There's guys that can't even go and play.
Yeah, altitude literally changes the air.
Yeah, so
it's a lot different than cold by 5 degrees.
Anyway, go ahead, make your pick. I'm going to enjoy this dub and enjoy my L at the same time.
I did make my pick. I took Denver, and Ship took the Raiders as well. But before we get into the next game,
Denver.
I took Denver.
I'm going to come to your house. We'll hold hands during the game.
I need to get a restraining order. I want to run through and catch back up on chat here real quick. Hubie says, well, actually, let me scroll up. Corey Cantrell says the Cardinals won't have their head coach. He's big on the Browns this week. Dennis Richardson's watching. Hi, Dennis. Hi, Bryson. How are you? Thanks for being here. Corey Stillwell, who does not know anything about sports, says, let's go Browns. Parker says Kyler Murray and I partied in high school. Interesting.
He's from Texas.
Was Kyler Murray like tall enough to see over the bar, or did you have to order for
Easy.
him?
Hey, let me just tell you, some people say he's the best high school football player ever to play in Texas.
Well, yeah, because he's a lot of future MLB All-Stars played high school football really well.
Speaking of Texas, can we all take a minute to just do one of those for Ship, who isn't with us tonight? But can we all just?
Are we gonna
We
give
just
them
They
the
gave that game away.
hook 'em horns?
They gave that game away.
Hones down, pal.
No, so listen.
I
Hold
like
on.
Texas, but golly, what a choke job!
I bullied Daniel Ship out of a group chat this week.
That's true. I'd add him back. So listen,
I
Brad,
didn't want to bring it
Police
up.
brutality.
Brad Geary is here. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Quinn Beard is here. Good to see you, Quinn. Welcome to the other side of the Silver Thunder stream. QB says, let's fucking go. Ferguson reminds us that Chandler Jones is a big loss. Quinn says, I'm a dweeb, always. And Paul Huber brings an interesting stat. He says, Mercury Morris always has a bottle of champagne at his side from week one until every team has at least one loss.
I wonder if that's all Mercury Morris has to celebrate.
It might be. Quinn
Because
Beard
if you
says
know his story, he got kicked out for celebrating with other substances.
Yes, he did. Quinn Beard says, go Cards, baby. Parker says, John Gruden coaching or nah? He's not. I think we've established that. Brianna picks Denver. And Hubie says the head has been detached from the body at the Raiders. They're in disarray. I wish I was live with you guys. Well, Hubie, we will get you on here one of these weeks very soon. You can do your segment live on stream. Gruden is not coaching. He resigned, Parker. Have you lived under a rock this week? Corey says I'm not big on the Browns. All right, well listen guys, next game on the docket is going to be, I think, a good game. This is Belichick against the Cowboys, which typically I'm on board with Belichick. That being said, Cowboys are pretty good this year. I'm gonna let you guys run through this.
I'll do Ship for him. I guarantee Ship picked the Cowboys.
Yeah, listen, that Belichick's defense, like you trade away Gilmore, that's a big deal. Your best corner, you just send him away. There's something going on there.
He's got bodies, is what they think. He thinks he can coach so well that they can just put bodies.
He can just he thinks he can just put some Joe Schmo in there, and it's not just a plug and play.
And then they give him the benefit of the doubt when it doesn't work.
You're not gonna get the same. You're not gonna get the same production that you're gonna get from a Stephon Gilmore. Is he playing for Carolina, by the way, Jordan?
I think so.
I think he is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We'll see. We'll see how he plugs in. But I'm taking the Cowboys. Their offense looks pretty legit. They've got the two running back. They're kind of a hybrid Cleveland, if you will, with their two running backs with Zeke and Pollard. The Dak looks really good this year. He's having an MVP caliber season. And
I'm a big Dak guy, as you all know.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah. Wait your turn. There, Silver.
Settle down, Junior.
You're right.
Settle down.
Big Dak guy.
I got a big. I mean, what?
Whoa. Yeah, give me Dallas in this one.
I gotta say about Belichick's defense, it seems that the Patriots thing all throughout the dynasty was, we're gonna see what you do well and we're gonna take it away from you. And they were really good at, so take it away from them, Bill, because you're gonna be playing a lot of man coverage with loaded boxes to stop Zeke and Tony Pollard from running down your throat. And CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and what's his name, like Cedric Wilson. That is a fearsome trio that Dak's got to sling it to. I think it's Dallas in this one, and
don't forget Dallas Schultz.
Yes, the tight ends as well. But let's all remember, Bill Belichick wanted to get rid of Tom Brady like 6 years ago. He wanted to move on to Jimmy G. And I'm just saying, maybe we should take that into account when we evaluate how good this guy is at processing talent and being a GM. Because I'm starting to think that needle is swinging. That needle is swinging to Brady's side, because there's no way you can tell me moving on from Tom Brady 6 years ago for Jimmy ACL tearing Garoppolo would be a good move.
Well,
tell me that would have been the right move. Tell me that. I don't know. He just.
You can't say it's the right move because Brady got rings since then.
No, and
I mean,
I'm going to go out on a
anybody
limb
to
and say,
argue with you would be like, I'm
yes,
just dumb,
I'm
but I'm
going out
argue
on a
for the
limb
argue.
and saying that Stephon Gilmore's going to be good. I think this whole let's move on a year early rather than a year late thing that he tries to do
might be catching up.
It's going to catch up to him, and I think
Thank
Brady
you.
was a
I like
Band-Aid
that.
on a lot of that. I think he was a Band-Aid on a lot of that. And
Hey,
Mac Jones,
and getting people to play for way less than their value for the sake of winning, that is getting old.
yeah,
If you don't have Tom Brady, people aren't taking below market value.
There's a reason Robert Kraft had to write $1 billion in checks this year in free agency to sign 2 tight ends, a bunch of wide receivers, all these guys because they needed help.
And if he just would have waited, okay, he could have got a really good tight end for a 5th round draft pick and a 2nd string defender. That's all I'm saying.
Wait, I don't understand.
Zach Ertz got traded today.
Oh, that's right.
For a 5th round pick and a 2nd string defender.
Tell her I love her too, Josh.
Hey, Kenzie, come here. Hey, Kenzie. Kenzie, come here and give me a kiss.
Babe, should Bill Belichick have moved on from Tom Brady 6 years ago? Babe.
Hey, we love you too.
Hi, Kenzie. Come on over and give Daddy a kiss.
Hey, I'll rub your back and rub my fingers through your hair until you go sleep.
Jesus Christ.
What's going on? What the fuck is going on?
That's really my baby. He just don't know yet.
Okay. Okay, that's enough fireball.
Somebody get Steve Wilkos in here.
That's enough fireball. All right, so hold on. So I have Josh for the Cowboys. Let's pick this game, guys.
Look at this subject going way off.
Let's pick this game, guys.
That went sideways real quick.
Yeah,
I know, but she loves me.
I'm gonna guess that's maybe not as accurate as you might think.
Well, probably not anymore.
Yeah. So,
anyway.
All right. So who else wants to pick this game, Chris Land? And you're correct. Ship took the Cowboys, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm gonna take the Cowboys too, just because of the Belichick taking the thing you're best at away from you, and I think the Cowboys are pretty balanced. So if you do try to take the passing game away, then Zeke's going to eat you up, and then if you go the other side and load up against the run, then you got to go on one-on-one with CD and Amari and all that, and so I just can't see the Patriots defense being able to slow them down enough. I do think it's a lower scoring game, though. I do like the under 50.5 in this game. But I do think the Cowboys win this game. It is getting ready to go to 3.5. So anybody thinking about betting the Cowboys, you better get it now before the hook comes on.
All right. So here's the deal. The Cowboys are the better team. Okay. But I'm going to take New England to win this game, and here's why. Okay, the Cowboys have been good. The Cowboys have not been flawless. Crazy. And I think that New England is good enough to capitalize if the Cowboys screw the pooch on this one. So I'm going for the upset.
Listen, it's picks like this that make you eat hot shit at the end of the year.
Hold on, Nathan. How many points did the Patriots give up to the multi-weaponed Tampa Bay?
Hang on, it was a monsoon in that game too.
I get it, but
let's not forget that
it's going to be snowy, rainy, sunny.
Someone might say that the weather doesn't matter.
Anyway,
listen,
I'm just
I
saying
didn't know it was going to be a monsoon that game, but
I'm taking Dallas. But I think I like the Patriots. I think it's a coin toss.
All right, so the Patriots held the Bucks to 19 points in the rain.
There you go.
In the rain, okay, in the rain. That's still impressive, okay? They did lose to the Saints. They dropped 25 points on the Jets. They only scored 16 against Miami. They're not an offensive juggernaut, okay? They're going to have to slow down Dallas. If Dallas scores at will, they're done. It's a blowout, right?
That 50.5 is stupid number on this game.
Yes. Well, if Dallas,
that's a really high number.
If Dallas comes in with everything clicking, guys. But because I think this is going to go the under, I think Dallas is going to be slower this game than they have been, and I think it gives Mac Jones and Bill Belichick a shot. I think the Patriots could win an upset here, and that's what I'm going with. I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't dislike that at all. I can see it happening, buddy.
Jordan, we still need your pick.
Well, I could. Yeah, I'm going with Dallas. Sorry, I just shit all over Bill Belichick. I think I forgot to say that. I think Dallas is going to be able to move the ball at will. I think that it's they're going to run the ball. Bill's going to adjust. They're going to throw the ball. Bill's going to adjust. Bill's going to be playing catch up all day. So
And let's not forget either that Tom Brady didn't have Gronk in that game, and he also didn't have Antonio Brown, who he's been reliable. Not against the Patriots?
Yeah, I think he did. He had COVID the game before that.
I don't think he had Antonio Brown. I'm pretty sure he didn't make that trip.
I got it right here.
Hold on. So, Quinn, to answer your question, we're picking winners outright, but we do discuss the spread because we're all kind of sports gambling guys. And if you're interested in more advice about sports gambling, 11:45 right here on 4 Laps Down on Sunday morning. Chris Land, what can they see at 11:45 on Sunday morning?
You can see all of your favorite start sits as far as your year-long fantasy teams. You can get a lot of information as far as if you play DraftKings, FanDuel, or Super Draft. I'm pretty established in giving out winning information in that end of it. Also, when you look at the gambling, I usually give out some player props, which I'm about 68% on player props that I've given out this year. And then as far as just straight up bets, we're running about 67%. So we're on the winning side, even if you're paying juice on that side. I put together some pretty good paying 2 and 3 team parlay combos. So anyway, and I have a special segment, and Josh and Jordan, hang with us after where I'm going to give you a little bit of preview of what's going to come on there. I did a lot of research for guys with their year-long fantasy teams on looking forward to your playoffs and the matchups you're going to see and teams you're going to want to be invested in, because weeks 14 through 18 are going to be playing bad defenses. So I probably did about 2.5, 3 hours of research on teams you're going to want to be invested in come playoff time.
So remind them again, what is that show called and what time?
It's So Money.
Featuring?
And Chris Land from Thoroughbred Merchant Solutions. I am Chris Land, the credit card man. I will always save your business money if you are taking any kind of credit cards whatsoever. Anyway, see me at 11:45 on Sunday. I have got the juice for this week.
All right, guys, we got 9 minutes left. We got 2 more games to pick. This is an interesting one. No, Quinn, different Chris. We got 2 games to pick, and this first one, Sunday Night Football, Pittsburgh hosting the Seahawks. This game got really interesting with the news that Russell Wilson is going to the IR. Pittsburgh's favored in this game by 5 points. What do we think, gentlemen?
It's Pittsburgh. You want to talk about Denver's defense not looking great, making Big Ben look good again. Seattle's defense is almost as bad as Kansas City's. I mean, what are we talking about here? It's Pittsburgh. I think the offense can move the ball almost at will in this one. And best moment of last week was everyone chanting Geno Smith, and he comes out there, chance to go on a game-winning drive, and he says, "Fuck it." Throws an interception. Game over. Most Geno Smith thing I've ever seen. Geno Smith will always be remembered as the guy who played for the Jets, who punched his teammate in the mouth. It's the Steelers in this one, man. Geno Smith ain't nothing.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Jordan. I think the Steelers probably pull this one off. I don't think they're as bad as their record is. I mean, keep in mind they put a pretty good wood laying to Buffalo in Week 1. Now, granted, it's Week 1, I get it, but Buffalo very well could win the Super Bowl this year, and we're going to look back and say, hey, remember when the Steelers beat the hell out of Buffalo in Week 1? I think the Steelers are a halfway decent team, and Seattle's way too banged up, man. Seattle may not win a game the whole year, the rest of the year. I don't.
If Wilson doesn't come back, that's very. I mean, that's
their
Tough.
season, it's a wrap for their season if Wilson's done. I mean, and they're saying Wilson, he could be expedited as far as his return goes.
There's going to be no point by that time. So,
but if they lose, I think somebody said 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, is the expedite on his return. If that's true at that point, like their season's done. They're not catching that division. You're chasing the Rams and the Cardinals. You're not catching either one of them. And in the wild card, you're just going to be way too far behind.
Feels like a race to the bottom between them and San Francisco.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, it does. I'm also taking Pittsburgh in this, similar to what Jordan said. He kind of stole it from me. You know, everybody's chanting Geno, 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 and he comes out and he's like, "Oh, I play for the Jets. Remember me?" And he throws a pick to lose the game. So, I still don't think Pittsburgh's great, but I think they're better than Seattle. Give me Pittsburgh in this one.
Fair enough. Chris, what do you think?
I'm going to take Pittsburgh, but I do. I can't take Geno on the road. So I hope Metcalf does good because I have a lot of shares of him in several fantasy teams. But 42.5 to me seems way low. I feel like there are going to be some big plays. And so far this year, if you look up what Seattle's done against opposing running backs, I mean, it is a get some for free store. So I think Najee Harris probably has a really good game on prime time. And as bad as I hate the Steelers, I don't really like the Seahawks either. So it doesn't hurt my feelings very much to take the Steelers. So I'm going to roll with that.
Fair enough.
By the way, also Juju done for the year.
Yeah,
Juju done. Fire up Chase Claypool, y'all.
Terrible.
He's going to get double-digit catches almost every single week for the rest of the year. Right?
Hey, fire up Najee
Write
Harris.
it fucking down.
He should be doing that already because Juju's not good.
No, you got 3 guys in Najee. No, I'm telling you, it is now is the time. I've been holding that too.
I'm gonna keep screaming from the rooftops though. I told Josh a week before a fantasy draft I had a secret weapon hiding up my sleeve, and he asked who it was, and I said I'm not telling you. And then, sure enough, pick 2, round 2, Najee Harris comes to me, and God, has he been good?
There you go. So, all right, guys.
Hey, he is fantasy gold.
We got 4 minutes left.
90% of the game.
We got 4 minutes left. We got one more game to pick. Tennessee, Buffalo. Tell me your pick. Give me your final thought of the evening. Chris Lance, start us off.
Well, I mean, I think that anybody to think that Buffalo is going to lose to maybe the second worst secondary in the NFL is just stupid. Weather's not going to really play into it. Actually, Buffalo's going to a warmer climate. They might get a little bit of wind, I think is what I read in that game. But anyway, so I'm going to go with the Bills. I do think that Derrick Henry gets his carries and his yards. But I'm going to go with the Bills, and I hate taking road favorites in the NFL, but 5.5 is a lot. So I'm not going to bet it. If I had to put some money on it, I'd probably play the under because I think Tennessee's going to want to run the ball and shorten the game.
Fair enough. Give us your final thought of the evening. Oh, okay, he's gone. We lost him.
That's his final thought.
That's his final thought.
Just a mic drop.
Josh, go ahead.
I'm gonna take Buffalo in this as well. That team looks legit. Bills Mafia's going nuts, jumping through tables up there. So, I, like Chris said and alluded to, I think Derrick Henry gets his. He's the best running back in the NFL, so he's gonna get his yards. But I think that Buffalo is just too good on the other side. Final thought of the evening. Good weekend for football. Excited to see what can happen with the Vikings and a lot of good matchups this week. So looking forward to it.
Jordan?
Yeah, you got to go with Buffalo. I think this is an easy game to pick. Tennessee's defense hasn't been good this season. It hasn't been detrimental like the Chiefs. So Seattle. Sorry. It hasn't been that bad, but it's still been pretty shaky. So I think Buffalo moves the ball. I think what makes Buffalo so dangerous, though, is just the offense catches the spotlight. The defense is playing so good right now. I mean, they're holding teams to like almost 12 points a game. granted, they've played some pretty bad teams, but still, you saw what they did to the Chiefs. They had that offense looking pretty pedestrian. So I like Buffalo a lot in this. For my final thoughts of the evening, like Josh alluded to, really good weekend for football this weekend. Even in college, I mean, you have a UK team that I think is kind of feeling themselves, and I know Chris Land loves going to play Georgia. And
I have a ticket. I have a ticket for $100 that pays back $1,100. Kentucky on the money.
Straight up a win, and I think it could happen. So it's going to be a fun weekend, man.
The king. Anyway.
And UC playing against the national champions from a few years ago.
The FOMO national champions, the UCF Golden Knights, I think. But it's going to be a fun weekend to watch football. Obviously, check out Chris Land's show. If you want to play the DFS and everything. And,
guys, I think I'm money this week, guys. I think I'm so money. Stay with me, Josh and Jordan, so I can help you.
Absolutely,
on your fantasy.
But my final thought is just going to be, again, reminding everyone I beat Josh 189 to like 130 last week. And just like the league didn't happen last year because of COVID. 2 years ago, I whooped his ass in the playoffs. I ended his back-to-back that he had just had. He was trying to three-peat, so I put that to bed. And it's happening, boys. I'm sorry. I'm the best season-long fantasy football player
happens when
that's here right now.
Brother in his place. It's like Kentucky and Louisville. Josh, you get to be Louisville.
Yeah, you get to get beat up.
All right. Well, guys, listen, it's been fun. Everybody watching at home, thanks for tuning in for another great episode of Fourth and Long right here on Four Laps Down. Every Friday night coming to you at 8:30 Eastern. We're going to be here all the way through the Super Bowl every single week. There are a couple weeks coming up with holidays that we're going to be flexing to a different night of the week. We'll be sure to communicate that with you. If you don't follow our page already, please do so. 4 Laps Down is the page. Fourth and Long is the show. Be sure to follow our Facebook page so that you know, are we live Wednesday? Are we live Thursday? For example, the week of Thanksgiving, we're going to be live on Wednesday. I believe there are 2 or 3 others where we're live a different night besides Friday. So make sure you tune in for that information. Thanks again to everybody that tuned in and participated in the chat tonight. Couple new names coming in tonight, so love to see that. Thanks again to everybody.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Ship's pick was the Bills, and I don't have to say a lot here. Derrick Henry's the best running back in the National Football League, and it's definitely not enough to beat the Bills, who may be the best team in football right now. I'm going to go with the Bills. So we're across the board for the Bills. And for my final thought of the evening, I just want to thank everybody, again, for tuning in, for making the show so much fun. We started this last year on like a stupid, ridiculous idea. Like, what if we went live on Facebook and talked about football? And 22 episodes later, all the way through the Super Bowl, I was live eating a hot chip. We saw a real life titty live on screen. We're not going to repeat that this year. Sorry to burst everyone's bubbles.
2 different bodies.
2 different nipples, Jordan. Easy. Easy.
Don't do it.
Easy. But with that being said, guys, I'm Nathan. He's Jordan. That's Josh. That's Chris Lane, the credit card man. Host of It's So Money. Jordan is the host of Let the Dogs.
Give it away free money.
Free Money Sunday.